Welcome to this third video, and this third video is dedicated to explain how to turn back production schema into a development schema, a schema which will then follow head and which is not used for production but to develop and to test the latest version of the source code on the data model. So we go back to the example of our multivec project. We have this database, and first we take this database as unknown. We don't know in which status it is. So how do we know what is the current synchronization status of the database? We go and take the magic query here in synchronized database schema, and the query is not so magic. Let's look at it a bit. Let's take a deeper look at the query. If we look what it does, it takes the highest version number in the table, and for this row with the highest version number we display all attributes. We execute the query, and we retrieve then that our database is for the project multivec. We already knew from the name of the database, but what is more important, we know that it is at version 151 and that this is a production schema because in this column branch name there is the prod1x branch. If it would be a development schema, in this column branch name there would be head. And if you do not understand this, you should really watch the second video where this is explained in detail. Now let's make our example a bit more complex. So we have, in the last video we entered these 4 traits which now turned yellow because they are 3 hours old, and there are these 2 blue rows which are blue because they are 1 day old, and then we have also white rows because this is much older and it even doesn't have to. These are other projects which are managed by this deltasql test instance here. So assume another developer submits a new script, and this time the script is only for head, and it says update db trait set confirm status equal 10, and probably 10 is some constants for set confirm status to new. We imagine that it's a constant to say new. We submit this new script which turns then green. So looking at our database, it's currently at version 151, so it's about here. We would like to move it to the latest version, but we would like also that it includes scripts which were for head for the previous steps. So how can we achieve this? And again in deltasql the step to synchronize is hidden here in the synchronized database schema. So the query we already executed. We know that the current version is 151, and the value in column branch name is as set production 1x. In the last video, to perform the update step, we chose again production 1x, but this time we want to transform our production schema into a development schema, and development schemas, they follow head, so we choose head in this update to field, and we then click the generate synchronization script button so that we get the script. And now the first comment is in bold, so this warns you that what you are doing now, it's a complex step and you should review the script manually. I had cases in production where this kind of operation had more than 1,000 scripts, and when you have 1,000 scripts, it's better to check twice, or even better to do first the synchronization step on a copy of the production database. And looking at the scripts which are included now, we see that they are all applied to head. The first one is all applied to head, but it's not, there isn't any script which is applied both to head and to the branch. So the second script is applied only to head, and the third script is only applied to head. Also, we were at a version 151, but we also include a script which has a lower version, because this script was missing before. And the final synchronization step, it updates the branch name column back to head. Okay, let's take the script and execute it on our schema. And in this moment, the database turned into a development database. So if we check the table TB user, it has the update DT column, which is something which didn't belong to the prod1x branch. Looking at the table TB trait, it has the column confirm status, which was also not part of the branch. We can also take a look at the history in the table TB synchronize just by watching it and by sorting it for version number. So the grid is version number. Maybe we sort this way. We see that our last update brought our schema to head at version 154, and in the previous step it was at version 151, and it was following branch. We had two synchronization steps which were following branch, and before we had two synchronization steps for head. So this schema was one that was following, was a development schema, which turned in the production schema for a while, and then it turned back to a development schema. In the next video we will see how tagging works in deltasql. Hope to see you there.